All right, what's good, everybody? I'm Sabrae, a.k.a. Sweet Baby Bray, a.k.a. Make a Brother Pay, a.k.a. Never Too Late to the Bag.
I'm Yadda. That's it.
I'm the Honorable Sean.
The Honorable Sean, right. And this is
No Disclaimers Podcast,
the best show in the DMV. Today we have a guest, all right? Our guest. Yes, okay.
You could do better than that.
Our guest for today has been married for 30 years. He's a father to 3 and a grandfather to 1. He's the founder and senior pastor of Zion Church in the DMV. There's an online campus. Currently, there are 3 locations in Landover, Maryland, Fort Washington, Maryland, and Woodbridge, Virginia, and a 4th is being built in Greenbelt, Maryland. That one opens up in 2020. He's the president of Sagacity, where he provides coaching, development, training, and counseling. He's also the chaplain for the Washington Wizards. You may have heard him on 95.5 or 102.3 with his weekly wisdom. You can listen to him on the Keith Battle podcast every Friday. He's the author of 2 books, A Second Chance, Grace for the Broken, and Chickology, Why Men and Women Cheat, Understanding, Avoiding, and Recovering from Infidelity. The DMV's very own Pastor Keith Battle, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
The crowd goes wild. The crowd goes wild.
Those are some serious accolades there.
Oh, you ain't even got
all that up.
I do on my resume too.
All that up.
Check it.
I'm just trying to get on I'm just trying to get down on this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you
Just
so
want to
much.
be a regular.
We didn't fact check any of that stuff, just to let you know.
Y'all need another dark skinned person anyway. For real.
That's what I've been saying.
It's not a balance.
She's
It's out of
literally
balance.
been saying that.
You know y'all light skin been trying to run things too long anyway.
That's pretty funny.
You know y'all was in the house.
I was on the porch.
Yeah, you look like you was
Yeah, I was on the porch too.
Yeah.
The wraparound patio. I wasn't necessarily in the house, you know what I mean? But I was in close quarters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
right.
caught the AC when they was going in and out.
There ain't no question.
Well,
Me and Sabrae were.
Thank you.
Sabrae, I know where Sabrae was. She was in the woods. She wasn't even in the field.
Anyways,
Thanks for having me. No,
thank you
sorry.
so much for coming past the battle. First of all, what made you come here? Because we kind of ratchet a little bit, and I was a little nervous. We kind of jumped out there, and we were like, okay, let's see what
Totally
he says.
can't believe you said yes.
Oh man, this is not Bible study. Are y'all serious?
Well,
It's fitting right in.
Somebody told me this was a Bible study. No,
Aubrey, did you email
I
him?
like
I'm
this,
just
man.
kidding.
I like what y'all doing. I do. I
we
mean,
appreciate
I'm
that.
honored that y'all feel like I can come into the space and maybe contribute something.
Of course.
Oh,
of
wow.
course,
I'm
of
grateful.
course.
Thank you.
Cool, man.
Humble.
Thank you
That's
so
awesome.
much. Thank you so much
Yeah,
again.
my pleasure.
I want to let's get straight into it. You know, the topic today is Chickology, which is named after your book. That is right here, by the way. It's available on Amazon. Google it. Where else is it available?
Barnes and Nobles.
Yeah.
If you're in the DMV, they sell it at First Baptist Church of Glen Orange bookstore,
Ooh.
Zion Church bookstore. I sell them on my trunk.
Got you.
See me on the road, I'll pull over and sell.
Oh, bona fide
in a
hustler.
minute.
For real.
You
For
take
sure. I'm
cash
like
app.
Jay-Z with it.
Got you.
You take cash app.
Cash app.
I know
Cash
that's
App,
right.
PayPal.
Keith Battle 3
Zelle.
dollar sign. My picture come
The picture come
up. Picture come up.
good.
Yeah.
Good. So glad you're here. So we're gonna get straight into the topic. I want to know, how common do you think cheating is? I think that it happens about 90% of the time.
90.
90. I'm giving it 90. It is what it is.
90
That's
in
stingy.
relationships in general.
In relationships in general, yeah.
Oh man, you say that's stingy? Wow. You know, it's probably hard to track because most people aren't going to admit it. It's like if you fill out a survey, even if it's anonymous, like people are still timid. It's something you hide. Like most people aren't confessing it. So I would say that the numbers, because there's levels of cheating. Like what do we call cheating?
True.
Like, right? So if you're hollering at somebody, trying to talk to somebody that you're not in a relationship with, like you're trying to move in that direction, like if you're talking about a full-fledged sexual relationship with somebody you're not in a relationship with, I don't know the percentage, but I would say it's pretty high, especially in our culture. Like, it's just so much. You can have a virtual relationship with somebody now, and it'd be like people having sex through internet, like showing each other's body parts, and like you tell me somebody that's in a relationship with somebody that wouldn't call that cheating. You follow what I'm saying?
What do you call cheating?
I think cheating starts at anything you have to hide from the person you're in a relationship with. You're cheating.
That's a good point.
Anything you have to hide relationally. I mean, if it's something like you got to hide a text message, you got to hide your dialogue with somebody, anything that can't be disclosed. Would you do it in front of your significant?
Gotcha.
I think that's where it starts.
We have a lot of more access to people. It's easier. Like my dad always said, like him growing up, well, first, they didn't even have a house phone.
Wow.
So
they have a landline?
Yeah, you don't have a landline. So if you had to go to someone's house, like now you can really like meet somebody who's in California and you can start a conversation, you know, with them. So it's just
and see them.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
So he said back then, you know, you couldn't talk to white girls. So like the options were just limited. So
yeah. Yeah. I mean, technology and modernity has made access to all kinds of things different now. You couldn't even find pornography. If you wanted to see somebody naked, you either had to go into your uncle's bed and find one of his magazines, or you had to go like in town to a seedy part of the town, in the cut, in this little building that had little, and you had to go in there with disguise on. Now you need to see porn all day as a phone.
Or
you
go
be
to
11 years
video
old.
stores that had the curtain way in the back.
Right.
The little adults only section
Exactly.
in the back
you
of
had
the
to do all
Hollywood.
that.
or go to Rose Bar.
I don't know where that is.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's just a clip. But
punishment.
Porn is bad, though. I know, like, as far as I personally don't think so, but I understand that, like, biblically and like spiritually, that's not a positive thing, right?
I look at porn like this, like it's if marijuana, and this could open up a whole different subject. If marijuana is a gateway drug,
okay.
If I would say porn is a gateway behavior.
Got you.
Only because you can only look at people having sex so much before you want to have it.
Gotcha.
Like, how many times you gonna play with yourself while you watching everybody else have fun? What you saying? Which happens is you begin to objectify people. So you don't just look at a person just as they're a human being. You look at them through the lens of what you can do with them based on what you've been looking at. And I think what it's done is it's objectified human beings to where we don't really get to know people. We just wanna do people. Like,
gotcha.
And I think porn feeds that. And most people who confess to infidelity in their marriage also had a porn addiction.
Gotcha.
Wow.
And addiction. Just so you know, so let's say somebody looks at porn like they just bored every now and then. Like, that's a lot different when you're introducing it, but to the person who's like every day for hours. They can't even get work done. Can't even get their papers finished.
They're getting some work done.
Yeah, there you go. Sean, I like that. That is work, right? But it can make you, every addiction has the power to make you so daggone unproductive.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it is, like if you just watch too much TV, but certainly porn, and it has a level of shame to it too. Like, it's not something you normally do in front of people.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You mentioned in your book, one of the chapters has to do with how you know someone is cheating. So for the people out there who may have suspicion but not evidence, how do you know that someone is cheating, and like what do you do if you find that out and you don't have any evidence?
Well, first of all, most people are cheating are not going to tell you, and they're not going to admit it when you ask them. They'll be like, "What you talking about? What you talking about?" So you have to do research. Once you have suspicion, once you have some doubt or concerns, some suspicious, I'm tired, behavior.
Gotcha.
That's hard to say. Say some suspicious.
Some suspicious.
I got you.
Suspicious.
I'm going to struggle with you because we're brothers in arms.
Suspicious
Gotcha.
is hard unless you slow it down. So if you are sensing that there is suspicious behavior, most of that information can be revealed on a phone.
Gotcha.
Like everybody lives through their phone. So if you can get phone records, if you can do a phone history, and if you go through a phone and it's been swept clean, like you ain't made no calls, you ain't got no text messages that like the person is hiding something. And what I've discovered is it will come out over time.
Okay.
But 95% of people who are confronted with infidelity deny it at first, because you ain't gonna just catch them like that. You got to catch somebody literally.
Yeah. You got to earn it.
Okay.
In the act. Like you got to really, or the person, let's say it's a heterosexual relationship, the female who's the cheatee or the side chick ends up going to tell the main person, look. And even then, they got to have evidence. Like, I can tell you about your whole family. And that's devastating. So I don't know if you were going to that, but
your man has a birthmark on his inner right thigh.
Yeah.
Can't fake that.
Yeah. And your mom is terminally ill. Like,
because men share too much information. How would you know all that information?
And you got lime green sheets on your bed.
That's how we get empathy.
Got you.
It's part of the game. Look at what I'm going through. Look what I'm going through. It's like sympathy booty. He's got to have a man in order to get a woman to be unfaithful to him, to cheat with him. In some ways, part of the move is building so much sorrow for him. And man, you're a good man. And he has to paint this environment where he's deprived, he's unappreciated, he's not supported, he's valued. She don't support my vision, man. She always, she be doing her. He's got to always.
He's throwing his woman under the bus.
Absolutely. And she may or may not be that. But he's got a goal. So, a lot of women open themselves up to that. Oh, you don't deserve that.
Yeah, women are compassionate.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign, like you said, to know, for a woman to know if she's getting pulled into that realm. But you said something about the phones. It has to be something else other than that, because I know, so I don't know what phone that is, but I got first of all, I don't want nobody going through my phone because period. Not that I would have anything in it, because that's just not what I'm into. But
pass the battle.
You got to have a phone. You have to have the facial recognition, the fingerprints. Like, you got to give the ladies or the guys something else.
Yeah.
Well, so if it depends on the nature of the relationship. If you're married to somebody and they're hot, they won't give you access to your phone. Look, I want to check your phone. I want to make sure you not doing anything. Well, you need to be. The fact that a person doesn't want you looking in their phone is an indication that something may be going on. Because if I have nothing to hide, I don't hide anything. So you can check internet history. You can check laptops. Just if a person is hiding, they're not going to be where they're supposed to be. Like, you're the question you ask, how do you know if somebody's really cheating? I'm saying if you got suspicions, you're not going to get it without research unless you get blessed and it just falls right in your lap. Yeah. Like, what? They just mess up. Most people ain't going to mess up, and it just fall right in your lap. Or you got to have people, hey, you keep an eye out for me. Look out for Herman. He Herman. Or he always, he's supposed to be. So when a person, it takes them 3 hours to get home. They work in Forestville. They live in Suitland. But they leave work at 5 and get home at 8. So you start doing the math. Did you had another accident? Gotcha. Yeah, man, another accident out there or whatever. So.
But how do you know that? So there's a lot of women out there who may be side chicks and don't know it. They may know they side chicks, and then they might just be kind of like crazy and insecure. How do you some women, we go off our intuition, but sometimes how do they know that there's something that's inconsistent, and they just insecure about whatever they're doing, and they just digging through this man's stuff, and all he doing is going to work, going home, and
where's the line?
Yeah,
between.
Well, that's good. If anytime a woman is doing that, there is women, in my opinion, have something that's at a higher level than men, and that's intuition, discernment. Women can sense things that we can't pick up. Y'all can feel y'all know when somebody in this room ain't in a good space. You and Yadda will talk about it later. Did you notice that? Like, and we didn't even pick up on it. Like, they would have to be blatantly honest, but it's you feel it, right?
Yeah.
So, and it could be historical, like, Steve did me like this. You starting to act like Steve. So now I'm bringing my historical pain into this new relationship, and this other guy, just because that's what Steve would do when he was lying, right? And you don't even know why you getting punished for this. So it's okay. Let her look. Her insecurities will be minimized if she knows you're doing the right thing. Sometimes people check. I always say this: insecurity is present where security is absent.
I don't got that much money.
You really? Yeah, we're taking this all back to the Zion building for tonight. Yes, sir. Watch this.
Well,
yeah. I mean, if the studio we're in, didn't have any locks on doors and people could just walk in at any time. If my car is left open and is running, and my wife is saying, we trying to get home? Like, I'm saying, I'm insecure because there's no security here. This ain't the country. You can't leave the front door open. You're not in the country. You haven't. All black people got somebody in their family down in the country.
Gotcha.
In the country, they don't even close the door. Nope. Door be open year round. Like, people walk in there. That's Tom. He bringing eggs. Like, we can't live like that in Fairmont Heights. No. You got, if the apartment I lived in, you had a lock, a chain, then there was a lock on the bottom, then there was the bottom lock. Like, we was secure.
Then the little door stopper.
Right. Then you had the peephole.
But I want to know something, Pastor, though. Like, as most millennials, we not getting married like that. How faithful should you be in a relationship? What are the expectations for that? Because you mentioned married. Now, if I was married, we should be able to swap phones and it's nothing. Right. But you didn't make that level of commitment. So why is it why is are the doors that open? You know what I mean? What is it there with, like? I think
everybody's got to make the determination of what they want out of the relationship. If we're free to do whatever we want to do, then everything is cool as long as both people agree on it.
Gotcha.
So if there's not going to be any accountability, and we both cool with that, then that relationship. The only problem is when one person is saying, "Well, where are you going?" Well, hold up, you don't ask me where I'm going. I don't ask you where you're going. I mean, when you're talking about a dating relationship, I think there needs to be a conversation about expectations. What are those expectations? Are we how committed are we to one another, or are we just a part of each other's? You're part of my circle of intimate friends. Okay. Like, and that's an understanding. I mean, I don't know how people do it now, but this is what I do know. I do know that however you train yourself will be the way you perform. That's a fact in life. Like, you cannot have performance without practice. And I'm saying anything you practice, you get good at. And if I practice being unfaithful while I'm a dater, I will be good at it when I'm married. Like, it ain't like
a master cheater.
Yeah. So now we coming down the aisle, and all of a sudden, my cheating ways have now disappeared. No, this is my vibe. Like I commit to you because I want you to be the mother of my children, but you already know how I roll. You already understand that I'm not expecting, don't expect me to just be faithful. And so I always say this, I think there's a certain behavior that we take into marriage that we started in dating because nobody raised the expectation.
Got you.
Do you believe in people, like, getting it out of their system prior to marriage? Is that a thing?
That might be a thing. I've never thought of it that way, but, like, when you say get it out of their system, like, make sure they experience things that they're not gonna want to.
Yeah, like,
they're gonna have the opportunity to experience after they get married.
Like, I know mainly guys, but who feel like,
you feel that?
No shade, but
I feel it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I know guys that'll feel like, well, the phrase is, until I'm married, I'm single. Which, to a certain degree, I can understand, where they go with that. So in that aspect, they feel like it's kind of a free-for-all because they haven't made that commitment. But once they do, that's when they feel like, okay, this is it. So until then, I want to live it up because I'm not going to do this when I'm married.
I still, I can see the logic in it, but I'm still training myself to be, if I train myself to have multiple women who meet my sexual needs, then it's going to be hard to untrain that.
You're not going to stop cold turkey.
I don't see how it's going to happen. Like, and then when do you get tired? Like in my church, just yesterday, there was an 83-year-old woman who said straight up, she says, my biggest problem is when I get horny. Mm-hmm. She just said it. Like, I was just like, I hope I am horny at 83, by the way. Like, I mean, when does a person get tired? Mm-hmm. You know, I've had uncles, like I come out of a background with men who were womanizers. I had an uncle who died in his 70s. He had multiple girlfriends when he died. Like, gotcha. I just think it may be logical to think I just need to get all this out of my system, but I'm also training myself to not be faithful. And so there is a consequence. Like, I think everybody should be able to see for at least a period of time. I wouldn't move from a dating relationship to marriage with somebody who I couldn't see over a period of time that they could prove they could be faithful. Because unless fidelity doesn't matter, it's going to happen. It's going to be a problem. And you just said it's happening 90% of the time. So
I think a lot of people are getting married before they're ready, especially in our generation. Aubrey, we have a comment?
Yes, I have a comment from Rashid3. She says, why does it have to be sexual needs if the definition of cheating is what you are hiding from your partner?
Ooh.
What does
No.
Why does
it have to be sexual
needs if the definition of cheating is what you are hiding from your partner?
Well, I just learned that definition today. So.
I would say most people go to the sexual aspect because that's a universal definition of cheating. Like, everything else is subjective. Like, for me, I agree that if things that you would hide from your partner from that level, like your interactions with somebody else, things like that, of course, I agree that those are cheating. But I think that everyone can agree that outside sexual relationships definitely constitute cheating.
Well, I think if that's the case, I think most people have, because even if it's a situation where it's completely innocent to you, you know, you like, well, dang, if I say that I, you know, had lunch with my coworker to my wife, she going, you know what I mean? Even though you know there's nothing, but the optics of it may not be something where you think that it would be good for the relationship.
Well, transparency would come into play in that, because if you're transparent about it, then you don't look like you're trying to hide things. Like, hey, look, my coworker said it's a spot down the street. We was about to go get some tacos, babe. You know, you cool with that. You should just be upfront about it.
But then some women might say, oh, wait, he's hiding out in the open.
I mean,
he's being transparent, so it can look like it's nothing there.
I mean, but you run the risk with that anyway. But I would take you being 100 with me over I'm hearing about it, or I feel like you're sneaking to do things. If you tell me about it and you end up hiding in the open, that sucks too. But like, I would rather you put it out there and I know about things.
See, that's the part that's confusing with me. Like, say your partner, whether it's a woman or man, getting upset with you having lunch with a coworker of the opposite sex. Well, we work with the opposite sex. Am I just having lunch with men, or are you just having lunch with women? Like, why can't people do regular things?
Because oftentimes that's the prelude. I
think it goes to what you said.
So here's the deal, right? Let's say you're in a relationship with somebody, right? And this is somebody who's made up. It's an understood relationship that we are dating. Mm-hmm. We're a couple. We go together, or whatever they call it now, right? Mm-hmm. And you just happen to be down, you know, at a venue, at a lunch venue, and they didn't know you were there or whatever, Gotcha. Like this person. And you see your boyfriend, let's say a guy, right? Mm-hmm. You see him, and he's with his buddy, and you're going to sneak up on him and surprise him. Mm-hmm. But before you can even get to him, a nice-looking woman walks by, and he says, hey, shorty, can I holler at you? Mm-hmm. Hey, can I holler at you? What's up? You looking good? And let me ask you a question. Right then, is there going to be a problem?
Yep, I'm going to his body.
That's what I'm saying. Like what? So what I'm saying, what you going to be like? Oh yeah, let me get her number for you. Like what? You're not going to say, what are you doing out here? Like there was no sexual intercourse. Mm-hmm. It's intent. Like what was your motivation?
Gotcha.
Right? Like. I think people try to make it seem like they're not gonna have a problem seeing why are you liking her page? What was this conversation about? Like there's this level of distrust because we know what people are capable of doing. Yeah. And I say that cheating starts before people are naked. I just think where's that conversation going when somebody's trying to holler at somebody?
So I want to get on. Oh, go ahead, Sean. But we get on the subject of side chicks.
Liking pics on Instagram. That
It's about
you
intent.
think intent?
That's what he said.
Yeah. Whose picture am I liking? You know what I mean?
A fat, pretty joint.
Right.
But it's not. I'm liking it because I like what I see. Does that always mean that, okay, I'm going to try to take it there?
Depends on.
Okay.
See, to me, it depends on who you're in a relationship
Gotcha.
with. How are they feeling?
Gotcha.
So let's say you're in a relationship, you got a female that you go with, right? I don't know what they call it now.
Gotcha.
And she's always liking this dude's picture that show his abs and his chest, and he all shining up. She's liking his picture and liking that. Like, I mean, are you cool with it? You might be cool with it. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't
Are
know.
you?
It depends.
I would be
Would
like,
you be?
damn, I don't got no abs.
He going right in the house. He going right in the house like, oh, so you like ass now? When you start liking
then she
ass?
messaged the guy and say, do you train women?
Got you. Yeah, that's
He
super
gonna
wild.
go home
Yeah.
and get
Yeah,
them
but
5
She
pound
just want training
dumbbells.
though.
So everything
She
is like
training.
case by case scenario because, like, say if she's liking Idris Elba's pics.
Well, you can't get to him. Yeah.
But
Get
if
your
she
run
like,
out.
but if she like a
But
little
if
Ray Ray
it's,
picture,
if
But if it's
June
black-
Bug from Gold's Gym,
Yeah.
and he said, well, just come on through, I'll train you.
Oh, if he
Or his name Dante. You can't trust any Dantes.
Yeah, never in his life.
Yeah.
especially if they work out at Gold's Gym in Ritchie Road.
Got you.
Wow.
Wow, she got real.
Yeah.
She got real specific.
I'm just-
No names, no timestamps. Next topic.
No, I'm
get off
just
your chest?
not at all. I'm very single.
you.
You know what I'm saying?
Got
I'm
you.
grooming myself to be ready
Gold's
for
Gym
that
is just a
right.
specific location. You know how many Gold's Gyms there
I
are?
said on Ritchie Road because that's the one we in the DMV. We the
And
best.
Dante. There's a trainer named Dante
Dante.
at the Gold's Gym on
he
Ritchie
about to
Road.
sue Sabrae for libel and slander.
The views of
Right.
this podcast are those of Sabrae only.
Yes.
See, now we got to disclaim or no disclaimers. See what you did? See what you started, Bray?
All right, hold on. Let's get into these side chicks. Okay, so in the book, Chickology, which is available everywhere you can buy books, almost.
Got an Audible version too. People don't like to read, yeah.
Or people who just can't read.
People
right,
that drive, people drive long distance. They might just want to listen to it. They don't have time to sit and read.
It's got music in it. It's real cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Get it. Some theater in there. It's a scene in the book where the infidelity is exposed, and we got actors doing it. It's really cool.
Gotcha.
Oh wow,
Yeah. Try to keep the ADD people engaged in the book.
Yeah, you got to.
that's what's up.
Check out the Audible
Yeah.
on it.
All right, side chicks. You coined the phrase. I think you coined it because I never heard it before. High chick. Okay.
Yeah.
We know what side chicks are. We know that. Is there a difference between a high chick and a side chick?
Yeah. So basically, the words just rhyme. But if you want to be specific, when I was in high school, I won't name the guy, but there was a guy who, the first guy I ever heard this, and I went to high school back in the 1980s. So it was a long time ago.
Gotcha.
He told me about this girl. He showed me this girl he was having sex with. I was like, man, are you serious, man? And she was just, it was just not somebody that, you know, I would have put in with. He said, that's my closet booty. That's what he called it.
Gotcha.
And what's a shame, what's sad about it is that this particular person would never ever be seen with this person ever in public. It's not like they have you serve any other purpose to you just
Physical.
it's just a physical relationship.
So she wasn't attractive, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was
That-
not by most standards, no.
Okay.
So, but in the book, I just use it as another way of trying to raise the conscience of women to not settle for just being somebody that's being used by somebody who's never going to really make a commitment to them.
Some of my
And some
friends-
women are cool with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to. Some women don't even feel like victims. Like I've run into women that says, I know I'm the side chick, and I like that. I ain't got to make no commitment. I ain't got to wash his drawers. I ain't got to cook his food. Like some people down for that life.
Pathetic.
I mean, but what I said to this woman, I was having a conversation with her one time at an event. I said, but what about the families you breaking up? She said, that's on him. I said, I would think that there would be a woman code, right? That if I know I'm about to break up your family, I had the power to destroy your family, your wife, your marriage, your children, and I had the power to do that because I'm giving him something you can't give him, his time and attention, etc. I would just think like, to me, what really made me stop the inappropriate relationship that I was in was when I knew this is gonna mess up families. Yeah. You know, regardless of the relationship, because my relationship was more emotional than it was physical. But I realized, man, this is going to mess up families. I ain't going to mess nobody's family up. Right. And I think that's where we should draw the line. Like, if you're going to mess with somebody, leave people's husbands alone. Leave people's wives alone. Because look at how much damage we've had in our families because our families are all broken up. And it's one thing to be broken up because somebody got killed, somebody died of cancer. But we breaking it up because somebody won't, man, find your own husband. Find your own wife. It's enough out here. You single, right? Mm-hmm. Most of the people in this room single. Like, get somebody that ain't married.
But Pastor Battle, that's not the woman. That's the man. I feel like I would not put that blame on the woman because the man has the decision to say, I'm not going to step out.
Right. So you don't think she has any culpability?
No, I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that, but I'm not saying
not
that
only her, right?
It's more so of him because he has made the decision to be committed to somebody else. She hasn't. Now, of course, morally, it's wrong for her, but I think it's kind of like 80-20. So it's definitely, on both parties, but that's on him. He has to initiate
That's
that.
what I took responsibility.
Okay.
I took responsibility for everything I did, everybody that was involved, right?
Accountability.
So, absolutely.
Gotcha.
But to relieve a woman who's a side chick of her personal responsibility for that, I think she's culpable too.
Gotcha.
Because I'm telling you, I was talking to a woman. I said, but what about his family? What about that family? That's his business. Like, so why don't you send him back home to his family?
It's your business when she beats you up.
It's some single men. No, she said the wife called her and everything. Like, the wife called me and she just plays games with her. So, like, because, her phone number's in his phone. She'll get a call from his phone and say, like a business answer the phone, like whatever, the name, company, Dollar Incorporated or whatever. And the woman the wife will say, who is this? She said, well, who is this? She just playing games with her. Like, I'm Amy. Let's just say I'm Amy. Well, how may I help you? Well, I know you've been with my husband. You do? How you know?
Oh, wow.
It's just pettiness. Like, and she's proud of it. Like, that's on him. And I'm just saying, I think if you are playing that game, my thing is you can do whatever you want if you're a grown person. But I just think families matter. To me, I'm big on family. And I come from a broken family, so I really wanted my family to stay intact. Even when I was unhappy in my marriage, because I wanted my kids to have a family, a father in the house. And I think there's inherent risk with infidelity. I'm talking about even on a dating level. Because 40% of people who are in just committed relationships have said that there's infidelity in those relationships.
Is it considered infidelity if you're not married?
That's the thing, right?
And I'm not trying to be funny.
I'm with you because I think we share terminology. But I think people still feel cheated on.
Gotcha.
Because if you're all in,
emotionally invested,
you feel just the same.
Agreement to be exclusive, and you violate that agreement.
Yeah, because you don't have to make that agreement.
You don't.
Okay.
Right, you don't have to. But there's always inherent risk. Like there's a violence risk when you mess with the wrong person's girlfriend. Like somebody. There's a reason why sometimes there are multiple homicides that we don't talk about, like people getting shot and killed over relationships.
For real. That happened, what, a year or two ago with the police officer?
Absolutely. That people don't know, but that's really what was going on, right? I think, so because I look at things through a leadership lens and a relationship lens. So when Botham Jean was shot that night, at 9:55 p.m. Central Time, that lady, Amy Geyer, was texting another police officer who was married. At 9:58, Botham Jean was dead. What I'm saying is it messes up your orientation, like your focus. I think a lot of people he's an innocent man got hurt in this situation. So you got the danger of violence. you had the danger of venereal disease. Like a lot of people get cheated on. Well, you better make sure you get tested. You don't know what they went out there and got. Because there's a lot of stuff out here. And sometimes reckless stuff, people who are acting reckless actually behave recklessly, sexually. Like they don't practice safe sex even when they're doing it. It's just so many inherent dangers. And I think one of them is family. To me, family matters. That's why I wrote the book too. One reason why I wrote the book, to say let's protect families.
Yeah.
You know?
Pastor Battle, you said there's levels of cheating. Is it a difference if, say, they don't have kids? You said, messing up families. I mean, essentially, they're still family if they're married.
Yeah,
but
that's a family.
If kids are not, okay, gotcha. Okay.
I mean, it's a different level of family. I always say this, leave married people alone,
Gotcha.
right? And somebody said, well, they going through a divorce. Well, they ain't divorced. Leave them, they broke up. They not together. It's like, who knows what will happen? A lot of men and women aren't working on their marriage because they found somebody else to comfort them. So they don't do the work of going to counseling and I have everything in my marriage that I was looking for outside of it. But I put the work in. And I could have left my family. Here's the thing, what I do, if I had left my family, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I couldn't write this. I couldn't lead a church. Look at how many people I would have let down.
You'll be at Sam's Car Wash.
Yeah, on night shift.
That's
doing
a hard
rims.
shift.
Doing rims. That means your back, your knees shot.
They
Over some booty.
They do say that you are less successful as men when you end up in a scandalous situation like that. They do say that a lot of stuff crumbles.
I think so. I think for me, it would have definitely crumbled. And I see how my life has gotten better since, my wife, my marriage, like a good marriage can take a man to levels he can't get to just by being a boyfriend. I believe that. Because a wife is built to build.
Oh, I thought you was going to take it.
Women are built to build. They're built to push. Like you all actually give life. That's what you're built to push life out of people. Push out life. We can't get here without a woman. And I don't think you can get there without a woman. Like the right woman can get you places you can't get to without yourself.
The right. Keep saying keep saying the right one.
We know pastors be taking money. Go ahead.
Yeah. That's another podcast, right?
Right. You gotta come back. You gotta come back for that one. But so back to the cheating and side chick situation. What kind of, other than family, like what got you there? Before we go on, what got you out of it? What got you there? Because I know I read somewhere, it was either in the book or article or something where you said for majority, early on for a long time, it wasn't a happy situation.
Yeah.
So it's how could you, because I'm looking at that how could you go that long with it not being a good situation? You how did that happen? How'd you get there?
Yeah, so I had a bad marriage for a long time. My marriage was good the first 2 years, then we started having kids. So we had 3 kids in 5 years. And children actually
repeat right there.
Yeah,
He
children
was in it for the long run.
Yeah. Children change a woman's focus because she goes from being, if she's never had a child, she goes from being a wife to being a mom. And that's a whole different energy. You got to pour into a child. You got to give your energy. If you're nursing, you're giving your body to the child. And the things that you used to could do together, you're just too tired. And so we had no concept of that. Nobody taught us that. When them kids come, y'all gonna have to work to stay close.
Yeah.
So I felt kind of on the outside. I felt like I was no longer first to my wife. There were 3 other people who needed her. And I didn't interpret it that way. I just felt like I was just now and there to pay bills, but I still had connection needs. And I didn't go out right away. It was 20 years later. So we were in that situation for a long time. And what I did was I violated boundaries because I wouldn't get close to women. I wouldn't let women get close to me, emotionally close. But, that was the first thing I did. I started having conversations that went beyond basic stuff like life, because I'm supposed to help people. But when you start opening up to a person, a lot of deeper affairs happen with emotional connection with somebody. and you know when you're vibing with somebody, you already know like this ain't right, right? Or this feels right and it's not supposed to feel right. And you know, that's how I got into the relationship. And I think that's the key, by the way, to staying out of it in the future. You got to know how you got there. Like, sometimes people want to know, should I give this person another chance? I know I'm going off into something. Like, how do you know? I think what I try to write about in the book too is, how do you know when to give somebody another chance? The way you know when to give somebody another chance is that they first of all got to admit that they were unfaithful to you. You can't deal with somebody that won't even come clean. If they're not going to say, you know what, I did that. They still lying about it. You can't move forward. And then once they admit it, then they got to have, like you said, an awareness. How'd you get there? Like, because if you don't know how you got to, like, how'd you start robbing banks? Or how'd you become an undercover freak? Or how'd you get to this place? Or how'd you become an alcoholic? Like, I started, man, every time I would just get depressed, I would do it. If you don't know what triggered your behavior, you're more than likely to repeat it. And that's another thing you gotta have in place. Like, I know how I got there, and I have accountability now. Like my wife knows where I am at all times. She ain't even worried anymore because it's been so long, and she knows but like, anybody's not willing to be accountable is liable. Like, if I can't find out where are you right now? If you don't answer your phone, you always talking about your phone is dead and I ain't got no signal. Like, you can't do that once you've been unfaithful. You have to have somebody when a person really doesn't want to lose somebody they cheated on, they got to be willing to admit that they were wrong. They got to be aware of how they got in that situation, and they got to be accountable. I'll tell you something else they got to be. They got to make amendments and say, all right, when I'm feeling this way, if I'm feeling like you rejected me, I'm not going to turn to another female to do it. I'll go shoot some basketball. I'll go work out. We got to work it out. Because what ends up happening is the woman ends up trying to do all this crazy stuff to try to keep him happy. Like, well, maybe I just need to do more for him and be a better version of myself. Well, you're going to still be human. You can't ever, my stomach is growling like you will never be perfect. He has to learn how to create other things in his life so that he won't turn to women or another woman to satisfy himself.
What if it is? Okay, hold on. First, we have a comment. Aubrey, we got a comment from the viewers. Shout out to everybody listening right now on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud and watching on YouTube.
Such a Lady 16 said, asked, you has the battle. She said, did you articulate your feelings of isolation to your wife? She said, men tend to suffer in silence, and why?
My bad.
Yeah, Yadda messed me up on that.
Okay,
say
that
it
one
one
time.
I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
Such a Lady 16 said, did you articulate...
What's her name?
Such a Lady 16.
Oh, it sounds like you're saying something else.
She said, did you articulate your feelings of isolation to your wife? She said, men tend to suffer in silence. Why?
Man, did I? I did. Yes, I think of it like, I would even tell my wife, I think we're in trouble. Like, we're in trouble. Our marriage is in trouble. Like, but there was so much isolation. There was so much distance that I don't think, y'all really should have my wife on here too. Like, she's been thinking about it. We doing something Saturday, but it's sold out. We don't have any room left for it.
Then it would be 3 against 1. I need you here.
Oh yeah, I would be here with her.
Okay, gotcha.
But I was just saying, like, she'll tell you, even if I said it, she was in a bad place too. Like, but I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound crazy. Infidelity helped our marriage.
That doesn't sound.
That don't sound crazy at all.
That literally,
Really?
that doesn't sound crazy at all.
Now
hear
I
a lot
like
of
y'all, because if I say that in church, they'd be like, "Oh Jesus, oh the devil is a lie." I'm telling you, y'all felt that.
I did.
It probably strengthens
Well, let me
things,
put something
and it
in the
allows
thing.
y'all to-
Hey, let me put something in the thing.
Okay.
They don't put number dollars on this plate. This is millennial plate.
We only got cash out.
40-something joint would have 5s in it at least. Nah.
No, Pastor Matter, that actually, no, it makes a lot of sense though. It's like Well,
I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I'm saying
surface
Yeah.
level, it sounds crazy, like at
Yeah.
a surface level. But when you really think about it, you think about how when you get that type of situation, it forces you to put things on the table that you might not have put on the table had it not happened. And then it allows you to reweave y'all situation. You can rebuild your trust. You can make your bond even stronger once you face those issues. But sometimes you have to have something traumatic kind of expose those issues that you haven't really addressed.
yeah, it had to be blown up. Sometimes you got to blow up a bad relationship to get a good one.
Sabrae, may I say something really fast? Thank you, my sister.
God, he got like
Brother
6
Sean.
layers. He's a whole
Brother
different dude.
Sean.
Like
Yeah, he got the outfit
Deacon
on.
Sean. He don't dress like this. Go ahead, Sean. Go.
He in character.
Yes, this is all
He's
to impress
applying for
you.
deacon at our church. Y'all didn't know that.
Yes, I need a new
He's gonna be
job.
the chairman of the deacon board.
I'm not mad at that.
That means no more stamped ENT parties because I don't think that's
the Bible studies that we have. So would you say that when you did talk to your wife, was she receptive to your emotions, how you felt?
Like when I was trying to warn her,
Yes.
nah,
Okay.
I don't think so. It was dead.
Gotcha.
It was just like going through the motions, and I don't know. I just feel like it was we now call it the perfect storm.
Gotcha.
Not only did it bless our marriage, but what happened was, like, I don't want to get too spiritual.
No.
Spiritual. You know, when you from
When
when you anywhere in this America, it's spiritual. When you from the
The
DMV, it's
DMV.
spiritual. I don't want to get too spiritual, but everything was set up. Like, we had the right leadership around us at the time. We got to the right counselors. Like, there was a team of people who were prepared to walk us through it, like, perfectly. Like my wife met with the other lady. I was conversing with the husband, like my sorrow for what I did and everything. Like, everything. I will never tell you. I can't tell you too much because it's some of other people's story.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I already wrote a book. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to put people out there, but like, everything just fell into place, like, to heal the situation. It was incredible because I never wanted to be there anyway. I never wanted to be out there. I didn't want to be in that space, and it was a small window when I was in that relationship. But like, and then the healing that took place in our relationship, like, when my wife and I started doing, like, having fun again, and it's a great story. Yeah, I wish I could tell all of it, but all I can say is that we, I really like when she talks about it, because, like, I feel like she could say whatever she wants, like,
I get that.
yeah, but she's, she calls it a perfect storm, and she even said one time she probably would never do that, but she would, in her mind, she really wanted to thank the lady because she woke us up out of a slumber and brought us together. And hope, my guess is, and my hope is that other marriage is doing well and better. I don't know, but I know for us. But here's the thing, because I went in that direction. Here's the other thing. Somebody asked the question: well, if somebody cheated once, can they do it again? I'm saying now I know what I'm capable of. Like, I don't believe I ever will, but I know I'm capable of it, because history is a revelation of capacity. Anything somebody has done, they can do again. So I can never be too careful, because I know what I'm capable of doing. So, yeah.
What gave you? We have a Before we wrap this portion up, I have to know what gave you the courage to go to the woman's husband, because like who does that?
That's admirable.
No, it's admirable, but like that takes bravery
man,
and
my heart was
courage.
broken,
That grown
man.
man business right there.
Can you fight?
I
Was he a
maybe-
smaller gentleman? Because, like,
Oh,
you
if
can
you're not
size him
going
up.
there,
You
we're not
know
going
what I'm saying? He's got-
It was I was heartbroken that I had hurt his family, when you are a wounded person and you're sad and you find another wounded person who's sad and y'all start vibing, when you're having these conversations and this connection, you never mean to hurt other people. Most people who are unfaithful and cheat, they're not trying to hurt anybody. They're just trying to heal their own pain.
That's why they sneak and do it.
Yeah. That's why they, nobody thinks they're going to get caught. But I betrayed that man. I hurt him, and I was very sorrowful for doing that. And, what can I say more than I was sorry, There was some consequences that I had, as a result of it, but, it was, I just, yeah. He thanked me for apologizing. He said, thank you for saying that.
Wow.
9.9 out of 10 men aren't doing that. So I can see on his end as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he can hear my heart, and that's the thing. I wasn't, and he it was rough. I mean, he interrogated me. He wanted details. Like he was asking questions, and I had to tell him the truth because I knew he had asked her, and she couldn't like update me. Like that was over. I haven't had a conversation with her since that day. I mean, so all of my conversations going forward were always with him.
Yeah.
Like if he wanted information, man, like I had to. That's tough. Like you're a grown man and you got to report to this man. So, where were you? What was going on at this time? And that was.
Yeah.
I mean, let me tell you something. I wouldn't wish. People think people having a good time. Ain't nobody having a good time when they come out.
Yeah.
When you got a house of sadness and tears and pain. And that's why I'm saying leave people's marriages alone. That's some dangerous stuff.
I think it's something
some destructive stuff.
I think it's something to learn from that, which you were saying how that situation helped strengthen your marriage, and we didn't find anything crazy about that because sometimes when you go through certain things, it makes it strong. It makes the relationship stronger if you can get through it. Mm-hmm. I would just say for the people out there, because I know it's people out there who either have gone through this situation, going through this situation, or haven't and potentially might. But I would say, and let me know if you agree, to have that level of transparency beforehand, almost as if something happened, but like going out of your way. If it never happened before, like, hey, I'm going here, or I was there, or just having that, like acting as if maybe there was a situation to prevent it.
I'm not sure I understand. One more time.
Okay, so you were saying how like that situation helps strengthen your marriage. What about the people who are married who haven't gone through that yet? But because every marriage is going to have their ups and downs and turbulent times or whatever.
Yeah.
So to prevent that, would part of that being like to act as if maybe not act as if something happened, like a cheating situation happened, but like you know what I mean, like going through those emotions.
I don't think everybody has to.
Okay.
So I would say to them, we'll do what Vicky and I do now. What we do now, like what we have fun. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of marriages are affair or a lot of relationships, period, are infidelity vulnerable because they're not having any fun. They don't date.
That's true.
They don't do the things that they did when they first fell in love, right? They don't give each other cards and flowers and surprise gifts. They don't take trips together. They just don't do anything. So we do all that stuff now. Like we actually act like 2 8th graders at Kings of Million now. It's like that's really fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't care who you when you get married, you still want that person to be your boyfriend or your girlfriend.
I agree.
And if you can do that, keep that going, you don't really have to worry about the other stuff as much. I think there's some other things we teach too about finances and communication and stuff like that. But yeah, if you do the work, you can make your the healthier the relationship, right? Like this is flu season where we are, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know, we got to do a wrap up, but with flu season, what they try to do in the medical world, which is so terrible, what they do is they actually want to shoot you up with some flu to make you not get it. But the best way to prevent flu is from being healthy. The healthier a person is, the better they can prevent colds and sickness. It's just like when you were young. I don't know if you played ball young. Remember, we 13, 14 years old, you sprain your ankle on a Friday. Like Saturday, you back out there, maybe 100%, you back out there. You sprain your ankle in your 30s, you was down for like 6 months. Then a year later, you be like, that joint. Right? Because the healthier you are, the more you can prevent injuries. And the healthier the relationship is, healthy relationships aren't really that vulnerable. It's when people take each other for granted, We ain't checking on each other. Remember, you used to text each other all the time. How you do? Did you make it home safely? Now you don't even care. Oh, you made it home? Cool. I'm going to stay on the phone with you. Make sure you get in the house safe. Like that kind of, what happened to that?
Right.
That's very true. I saw this. I'm probably misreading this quote, but they said, because women cheat too.
Absolutely. I got stats on that.
The higher you build your woman up, the harder it is for other men to get to her. So if you got her up, a guy being nice or doing flowers, all that won't get to her because you're already doing that.
That's good.
So when you're breaking her down, you are
a remix.
Recycle.
He ran the scoreboard on. I ain't get one yet. So but when you're breaking your woman down, you're leaving that door open for her to seek other options. So.
Yeah, that's good.
That is good.
But it's and it goes the other way too.
Yeah.
Right?
For your man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was going to ask you that, but I didn't want to overtalk Sabrae because
go ahead.
Do you know how you said the side chick is at fault as well? So the person who's being cheated on, are they ever at fault for their partner cheating?
Yeah, they don't usually take responsibilities because they're the victim.
Gotcha.
But most people don't step out unless it's something they're stepping away from, like whether it's a lack of appreciation, a lack of attention, just feeling neglected. When you really get down to it, the person who's saying, I don't understand why I was a perfect wife, or I was a perfect girlfriend, I was a perfect husband, I did everything for, like, you're not, nobody's perfect. Like, but what you can't do very early on, you never want to impose that blame on that person because they're still so raw from discovering the infidelity. It may take them a while before they can see, I can see how I could have been better, right? After they've had time to calm down and not kill the person.
Go upside your head with that wine bottle.
Yeah.
Before we have two more things. One of the things was in your book, I think around chapter 10, and number one was knowing that you're worthy of that the very best love, right? Knowing that you're worthy of the very best love. It's some women out there, and I know they read this because I know some of them women. All of them are not worthy of the very best love. They haven't done the work that it takes to earn the man who is going to be faithful to them, who is going to make sure that they are doing all of these things. Like, every woman doesn't deserve that. Every man doesn't deserve a good woman either. What do you say to those women who are professional victims and who are encountering these guys who they may accept, a lot of lack from in the beginning and all of that, and it's consistent throughout these, situationships or relationships, and then they just are a professional victim over and over, and then they're like, oh, but I'm worthy of this very best love. Like, what do you say to them?
So that chapter you're referring to, I started off with, I think our view of our love, our worth of love must start with God. Like, if God says you were worth me dying for, that's pretty serious right there. Like, Prince used to have a song, said, I would die for you, but that's just a song. Like, God really did that. And if a person understands that I was worthy of God's very best, he gave us his son for me, not for what I did right. He gave his son for my sins. Then I think that's where it starts. I gotta get my love from God, because a lot of girls growing up didn't get that kind of fatherly love to say, you're pretty, you're my angel, I love you, you're precious. That's where it starts. The first man that mattered, what did my father say to me? Or was his voice silent? He wasn't even there. So the voice of masculinity saying to me, you're beautiful, you're precious, who opened the door for me when I was a little girl? Who took me on my first date and pulled the chair out for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that is, and I would say, if you don't feel worthy of love, build a relationship with God, because his love is unfailing. And I just feel like everybody, even if they've blown it, even if they've been ratchet, they still are worthy of the best love. They're just not behaving like it. Why you do that?
No, I just like to hug my sister sometime, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Just to embrace,
Please tell him he did not make the deacon board, please, so he can stop.
Okay.
I don't know, but
So-
that hug hurt.
I don't know. I don't I guess because of the work I do and the journey I've been on, Sabrae, I just don't feel like anybody is outside of being worthy of love, even if they're just cutting up and they've been wilding out and all of that. I just feel like there's even that person, because we don't know the end of their story.
Yeah, okay.
We're looking at a page in a chapter that may be pretty dark and pretty shameful and pretty bad but I just think people are
Okay, we have someone who's contrary. We have someone who emailed in. Okay, it says from anonymous. Sorry, I don't feel like he is being fully transparent. It is nothing perfect about hurting someone you love. It may have addressed an issue, but to call cheating, which is selfish act, perfect storm, is not feeling. I'm not feeling at all.
Oh, they just got cheated on.
Well, it's not for you to feel. To be honest, it's not for you to feel. That's everybody's situation is different, and you know how people choose to label or to identify with the situations and their own trials and tribulations is their business. That's not for you to relate to. If you feel like what I don't understand and is I can tell by you saying, cheating, which is something so selfish. So you've probably never cheated. So you can't speak from the perspective of someone who has cheated. What's the motivation behind it? What comes with the territory? You can't speak on that. And that's a hill I will die on gladly.
Well, just to be clear, that your wife's term was a perfect storm.
Yeah, she called it that. But I agree with it. I mean, I guess I understand people feeling that way. Like, you know, I've had preachers tell me, man, why would you do this? Why would you? I didn't have to tell anybody what I did. Everybody didn't know. I went public about what I did. I wrote a book about it. So, but a lot of people was like, why would you say that, man? Because people can't handle this kind of So she said, I'm not being transparent. I just came on y'all's podcast and told y'all I was unfaithful. Like, what do you want me to say? I'm saying, and something is messed, because I also want to give hope to people to know that maybe your relationship is not over. Maybe it's at a place now where it can be built the right way. Okay. That's what happened to me. It doesn't happen to everybody. I am not on here. I hope I don't come across as if I'm advocating, please have an affair so you can have a great marriage. I'm like, I try to prevent it, like avoid it, like stay away from it. Like I talked about the violence risk, the venereal disease risk. It's destroying families. Like, I am not, maybe they came on late and they didn't hear me say all that. Yeah. Like, I am not an advocate for infidelity. And like, infidelity is the perfect storm. I'm saying in our situation, what the perfection was how God caught us. Like, he caught me. Like, that's what made it so. His love, maybe I should say it like this. His love was perfect even when I was messed up.
Gotcha.
I don't, you know, because I don't want to, you know, I think what this person is trying to, is concerned about is that maybe I'm trying to make it seem like it was all good. I just said, it's pretty tough when you got to answer another man's questions about what you was doing with his wife. That's not
I definitely didn't get what she got from what you said.
Yeah, somebody told her rotator cuff reaching, and you don't got to say it. I'll say it. I'm sorry, that was a reach.
No, this is no disclaimer. She's in a fresh stage. She got cheated on last week.
Like,
we give her time to heal.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling to be. I'm sure to be cheated on,
but yeah,
I actually have a rotator cuff tear.
It never once came off like you were advocating for that. I just felt like you were very clear about what you said, so I don't really understand the basis behind that comment, but you know, whatever.
And some people just gotta be ready to pull it and work, because I always think, like, say if you cheat, and then, you know, you're willing to work, you know, to make it, how long, and it's case by case scenario, because whether it's a man or woman that's been cheated on, they might say, well, you can't put on a time frame on how long I'm gonna hold this against you, but how long should you stay in it? Like, all right, I'm fighting. Here goes my emails, my passwords. I'm letting you know. How long do you stay? If they're not willing,
if you were the one who was unfaithful and you're having to keep paying for it.
Yes, exactly.
You stay till you die.
Gotcha.
That's the commitment. You talking about you're married?
Yeah,
yeah.
What about when you're not?
You're married till you die.
Gotcha.
The vow says that I'll stay with you till we die.
Gotcha.
You can't get out alive.
Gotcha.
You know, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're not married to them, because let's say if you're not married to them, I don't know how long you stay in a relationship like that.
Gotcha.
Like I don't know if I would stay. Like, why would I stay and not get married? I don't know what people's intention is.
Gotcha.
Because I started going to church when I was 14 years old. Like in church, like a lot of the young people in my church, we all got married as young adults because they was telling us you couldn't have sex if you weren't married. So shoot, we was trying to have some. So
Gotcha.
like we could finally have sex without saying, Lord, we sorry.
Gotcha.
Like, so I don't know what it's like to keep living without a spouse because the way we were taught, you couldn't do that. And
Right.
I don't know if y'all got a different like experience, but that was what we grew up in.
Yeah, I was trying to get married at 13. I feel
that might have been too quick. Yeah. But yeah, you stay till death, man. You know, it's one of the consequences.
Gotcha.
Of, you know, some people that's their consequence.
Gotcha.
Fortunately, I don't go through that. I mean, I've done so much work that, you know, I think you'd have to ask my wife why she doesn't bring it up. I think she knows it was.
We gotta get her.
over.
She's gonna come on at some point. She has to because that give a different insight. So right now we have this wonderful segment. Okay, we're gonna move on from that and make sure you go grab the book. It is called Sidechickology. Why Men and Women Cheat. You can get it from Barnes and Nobles. Great audio book. Out of the trunk of his car and pull up as mine on Sunday. It's everywhere. All right. We have Yadda Yadda with Yatta, a segment where she brings all of the tea with the current events and everything you need to know. We're keeping it clean today. You ain't gonna catch me.
Who's in character? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm cussing.
Pass the battle. They said I was in character.
Yeah, you doing well.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't cussed once tonight.
At all.
I feel so honored.
We have respect and home training. Thank you so much. And Yadda Yadda with Yatta, let us know what's going on right about now.
Okay, so
Keep it clean.
we've got Apryl, we've got Lil Fizz. They've been lying. They've been talking about how, we're just friends. And it finally came out publicly that they're in a relationship. And everyone is mad that Omarion's not reacting.
Give him a little backstory for
okay,
Past
so
the Battle.
You see me, I'm just like.
Okay, so these are reality
Popsy?
show people. Lil Fizz and Omarion were from that boy group B2K. They just had a reunion tour not that long ago. This is like an early 2000s boy group.
Okay.
Did they thing? They used to crank. They have their little reunion tour now. And Omarion's 2 children with a woman he used to be engaged to. Her name is Apryl.
Okay.
And Apryl is now dating Fizz.
Wow, from his group.
From his group. So Fizz's storyline is that him and Omari were business partners. They were never friends. So now he's dating his baby mother, and everyone's in a rage, of course. So what's the lane with that? Like, okay, can your friends date your exes? What's the beef with that? Personally, granted, I feel like maybe the baby mother, baby father situation might be a little too close for home. I personally don't care if my friends date my ex because I feel like I don't care.
Ex.
He owe work. I don't even claim them.
owe work.
I'm like, my what? First of all, my what? No, if I don't date you no more, you what? Don't tell people you know me. But I feel like I don't care if my friends date them because I don't want them. I feel like if you care, it's because you still have feelings. And don't get me wrong, if it's fresh, that's a given. But I feel like after a certain point, it's you. You got to just let it go. And somebody that I used to date might be the perfect guy for one of my homegirls. And it's like, for one, girls will go out here and try to befriend Earth to keep holding on to old dudes. And I feel like that's out of pocket. They will go and try to be her friend, so that you can't talk to none of them girls. You might be the perfect dude for my homegirl. Just because we didn't work out, we just shouldn't have happened. But, I mean, hey, you might be her soulmate, bro. Like, hey, do your dance. But the baby mama, baby daddy thing, no, you can't go from being Uncle Fizz to being Stepdaddy Fizz. That don't sit right.
That's where the boundary comes in.
Yeah, that's kind of, it might be kind of weird.
Whenever you throw kids in the mix,
it changes the dynamics of things.
Takes it to another level.
Because, I mean, granted, they might be perfect for each other, but I could see why untoward, that would look wild. But I really think Omari hasn't responded because he don't care about that girl. And so it's like people want him to go, beat the dude up? They want him to go cancel the tour? Like, no, he don't care. His mother said she was for the streets. a long time ago, and she's proven that
When you say for
she
the
belongs
streets,
to the
what,
street.
what does that mean?
Let Pastor Battle
she
know
belongs
what,
to the streets. That's
please let Pastor Battle know what she belongs to the streets means.
it means she don't got no AP on. She don't have no Audemars on her wrist. She belongs to the streets.
What's the AP?
Audemars Piguet watch.
Yeah, so-
No, it's. I'm sorry, this with the jokes, but no, she is.
I love it.
I mean, she's. I don't know. She's something off with her anyway because she just does like the most on live. Like it's like borderline mental
Is it
illness.
April?
Yeah, she is.
She's a piece of work.
She's a piece of
She's
work.
not
Like
a
she
nice,
needs.
wholesome young lady.
She needs prayer. She needs to come down Zion and
deliverance.
somebody lay hands
So
on
the
shoulder.
fact that their kids involved eliminates who?
I think
Your
that.
friends? Your close friends?
Yeah, I think it would be weird if one of my close friends dated somebody I have a child with. That's kind of like you've been around my kid and you're like,
as long as it's not your close friend.
like you're like my if you're my good girlfriend and like you like auntie and now you're dating my child's father, that's kind of weird. Like that, I think that might be like probably like a line for me.
you're
Even though
probably
I don't
thinking,
want him
like,
either, but it's like
Did you like them all along?
I think that's a problem with people though. When their friends date somebody they used to talk to or date or whatever, that's where they automatically go to. Oh, you probably was plotting on them. Y'all was probably messing with each other the whole time. When more often than not, it's not the case.
But you can't be friends and brothers one day and then when it's convenient for you, say, "Oh, well, we was just business
Right.
partners."
I definitely don't feel like they was
that's his
yeah,
thing.
I don't feel like they wasn't ever friends. Like that was your man's. Like stop it. Y'all was and the John and everything. Like come on, bruh.
And
Come on, bruh.
but, you know that's a man's favorite line. Oh, we ain't friends like that.
Oh, trust me.
You know,
I know what
man,
you want to say. I don't mess with him.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
no,
mess with him like that.
a man
I mean, we
will
used to hoop
denounce
together, but
a man will denounce his bestest of mans for a girl. I'm trying to tell you because it's happened to me too many times. And the dude would shoot his shot at me, and I'm like, why you used to mess with your friend? I only got 3 mans. him, and him. And then you on Instagram next week, and it's his mother birthday, and who in the pictures with moms?
Wow.
The mans who ain't the mans.
Now-
What stop?
now some guys do that if they feel less of the woman, just so their man can succeed. Because not I, but I know a group of friends.
Say that again.
God.
Some guys do what she just
So
described.
say if a man thinks less of a woman, right, and his friend wants to pursue her, but she says, no, you guys are friends. He might say, oh, we not folks like that. So he's throwing his man an alley-oop. I'm going to assist you in scoring with this young lady. So I would denounce our, bond, but no, we're really friends.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about
I've
code.
seen it. I've been, I've seen it.
Experienced it.
Wow.
Trash. Rid of that dash.
You got another one?
Oh, do we want to talk about Tank?
Nope.
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 I don't think we
Go ahead
want
and
to talk
talk
about
about Tank.
Tank.
No.
I don't think
I
we
did
need
his
to
wedding.
talk
Go
about
ahead.
Tank,
Put it out
man.
there.
Oh, you did Tank sweating?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dope. Okay.
That's tight.
Yeah, we're really not going to touch it now. Okay.
Go ahead.
No.
I'm grown. Y'all want to talk about Tank?
No,
I
we
mean,
don't.
I want to talk about Tank. I don't want to talk, man. I'm going to talk about Tank.
I mean,
okay.
do you have any problem with anything that he just? Do you agree with not problem? Do you
can
agree
clean
with
it
the things
up.
that he
Did y'all
said?
watch the whole thing?
Yeah,
I did, and I mean,
They set him up, didn't they?
they did.
It kind of did, yeah. But
You know,
I
he was
still,
talking about lying.
Yeah.
yeah, and it turned into, yeah. But I'm saying, if you,
He didn't.
You
somebody
wouldn't say
else
that.
said that.
You wouldn't say
Somebody
that.
else said
yeah,
You
that.
wouldn't agree to that,
but I'm
though.
They
saying-
said that.
But
and he
is it or
spit
is
water
it
out when he
not?
heard it.
Is it or is? I feel like you sampled them waters twice, bruh. Some broke.
Yeah, I think Tank is a businessman.
Some broke, bruh.
Me
Tank is a
too.
businessman.
CD came out 3 out.
Tank is
Yeah.
not going to make a homophobic statement because that's
true.
part of his audience.
That's true.
True.
He is not
That's
going
true.
and he doesn't have to prove that he's not.
True.
But
what
I
people are
mean,
thinking
let's
he
remove
is.
Tank from the situation.
Yeah.
If you sampled them waters twice, did some break or not? Like,
You know what I think, Pastor.
But he was talking about lying. He says, "Does it make you a lie if you lied twice?"
yeah, because you ran
But
it
you lied
back.
10 girls.
But see, those are different. So they're two different. To me, I feel like this. If you sample the waters, I'm using Yadda's term, right? Twice. It may not make you gay, but I think it makes you a letter that they just haven't come up with that term yet. But it ain't all the way straight.
It's called
That's just
gay.
me.
I feel like you sampled. First of all, you had the motivation to sample the waters once. That right there made you gay. Right there. You. I feel like you
So
like.
curious to see.
Yeah. You was like, dang, he look good. I'm trying. That was because your sexuality and your sexual preference are not necessarily intertwined. You could be gay and have never had sex before because you have romantic feelings for the same sex. So I feel like the fact that you looked at that man like.
So,
But-
so I'm gonna do what they
but
did with
they-
Tank. So
yeah,
if you
they set
thought
him
about
up.
murdering somebody but never murdered somebody, does that make you a murderer?
No, no. Thought about if you looked at that man and you had feelings of attraction to a man.
Sean.
Those are the sprouts of
No,
homosexuality.
gay
Holmes.
is when you.
No, you don't have to. You can know
So if
your
you
sex.
think-
You can know you knew you were straight before you had sex, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
That's it. Point.
That's
proven.
the point.
Gotcha.
You don't have to do it
But I don't
to know
think a
that
man
that's
is-
your preference.
Okay.
Because it's not all people know what they're attracted to before they're even, you know what I'm saying, they even take it there. But the point is, if you gave that man, you looked at that man and was like, he is fine, and you was also a man, hey, look, you planted them seeds, and then twice? What was the second time for?
So that means you was gay at that point in your life. All right, we're gonna move on. All right, so
Put a pen in it.
yeah, we're gonna put a pin in that. Thank you so much for that.
Great.
Was that drop it like it's hot?
we were gonna do a game, but we don't have time. Right now, we are going to go to one of my favorite segments.
I hope it wasn't the game from last time either, because that was your problem.
No. Oh yes, I know.
Oh Lord, are you gonna loosen up your top button so you get some air?
All right. All right. So this one we have is called Ask Sean. Okay. Let me pull up the Ask Sean. We have a question.
Look at you.
You know I have the.
You got your ask outfit on and everything. Look at you. You ready for questions?
I was looking for my ascot. I couldn't find it.
Oh my God. You
If I would
really
have came in here with
Glasses
an
for a
ascot,
You
I would have
really
been
would've
so
sweat to
mad.
death.
I was
like-
looking for the glasses.
Just go like this.
Yeah.
you need a Ray J joint so you can just flip them down.
Okay. Dear Sean, I'm engaged with someone who I feel like I don't know. I'm 22 and she is 29. From the moment we started dating, she let me know she is looking for a husband. I have changed my career from videography to working in IT to have more time for her. We've only been dating for 7 months and she's looking to be married in the next 3 months. I want to pump the brakes and really figure out if we should be married, if I should be married to her, or if I feel like I should postpone the wedding. But I feel like if I postpone the wedding, she'll leave me. I love her, but I feel like I'm drowning in anxiety. Sean, what do I do?
That's a great question. I would like to pass that to my mentor, Pastor Battle, because that's why he's here. Because, yeah. So this is an Ask Sean featuring Pastor Battle. What do you think, Pastor Battle?
Well, I would have paid more attention to the question. But, so I personally think that women are more relationally mature than men by, I would say, nearly 7 years. In other words, if it were flipped and the woman, let's say the man was
29,
34 and she's 27, I think that's about even. I think women is just a little more advanced relationally, domestically, and all of that. And it starts from the time we're a child.
So I should date older.
Yeah, I think.
Cool.
I think how old are you?
27, about to be 28.
So go get a 34
To
year old.
find a man who's ready for you, to the way you think and the way you want to operate, he's probably got to be a little older. You wouldn't want a man that's 19, right? But that's what she's done.
That nasty.
So it's always it's upside down. She's at a different stage in her life. As a matter of fact, not only is this a bad situation, but who you would marry at 23 and who you would marry at 29 is totally different.
You ain't never lied.
That's a fact.
Pastor Battle, I have no more money, okay? All right?
No, that's a fact. What happens in that window?
That's a
Who you would think
super
was
fact.
marriage material when you were 23 years old, when you were fighting through college, right? Who you would see in math class, where you say, I would be his mama, baby's mama. And who you would pick at 29 is different.
Totally
So the
different.
fact that this is he hasn't had a chance to mature.
Yeah.
And he's going to get into something that he's going to want to get out of.
Gotcha.
So I think he's just in a trap right now with somebody who's ready to settle down. She feels like her clock is ticking, her time is running
Because
out.
it is.
30's
She's still young.
30's pulling up.
She's
That's all it is.
29.
Her clock
She's
is
Still
ticking.
young. She's still young, but
Her clock is
he's
ticking at
too
29.
Absolutely.
No.
Well, you know what it is.
think about
Women-
if you with somebody, you say you're 27.
Mhm.
This is you were about to be.
And I'm about to be 28.
Okay, so you talking about somebody 19, 20 years old. It just ain't going to work.
No, it's not.
Where he is with his credit. where he is with his life, where he is with his focus. Now, there are some anomalies. I mean, Martin Luther King Jr. had graduated from college at 19. So, I mean, that's different. By 26 years old, he was running the civil rights movement. That's an anomaly.
Right.
Most men 22 years old are still trying to figure out how to cook for themselves.
Shoot, women too.
He's still eating cereal at night.
Got you.
Yeah.
But
He probably still got Frosted Flakes.
that's your
and-
favorite
and
cereal
Cinnamon
too?
Crunch. No, he's probably got Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh no, I like Frosted
in
Flakes.
his-
I'm on a grown man.
right.
Raisin Bran.
Oh yeah, Raisin Bran.
Yeah, okay.
Crunch, Raisin Bran Crunch.
No
That's
colorful
good.
cereals.
Yeah,
No
throw the
colorful
crunch in there.
cereals.
With almond milk, vanilla
Woo.
almond. Yeah, you got.
He be knowing. He
Yeah.
be knowing.
So I'm just saying, I think that's a bad move for him, and for her really, but I'm concerned about him getting trapped, and I'm concerned about her settling.
You can never
She's trying to be a parent.
You can
not a
never give
partner.
a man an ultimatum. You're not going to win in that situation, and that's what she's forcing him into something.
She sounds like she had a goal already. It just
Yeah.
a lot of women, and I see it on Twitter all the time. And it be women 22, 23, like, oh well, yeah. By the time I'm 30, I ain't no girlfriend. I'm like, girl, okay, yeah, that's what we all said.
Well,
Now,
I
Pastor,
get it.
you don't look at it different. Like when you see a 30-year-old man dating a 23-year-old woman, you don't say, "Why is he dating a woman that young?"
Yeah, it depends. I say 7 years in general,
Got you.
but I do think you have to reach a certain age before it starts kicking in.
Got you.
Like 23, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just depends on his maturity level. It's somewhere between 1 to 7 years. I just don't think most men are as mature as their counterparts.
I can.
For the whole, like, when we 14, we acting like girls just mature faster. They just settle into relationships faster. And I think the gap can be as wide as 7 years. I'm saying that's flipped.
Yeah, that's flipped. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that automatically means a man should be looking for a girl. By the way, the older a man gets, the younger he's looking for a woman too.
Absolutely.
By the way. And older women too. They don't want to, like when people their spouses die, people in their 60s sometimes, they're looking for people in
40.
their 40s to marry. It's serious too. Like, they're
Guys,
not doing it.
I do have a real big problem when a lot of men have issues with women in their late 20s, early 30s that are looking to be married, because they don't understand that at 35, it's an automatic high-risk pregnancy a lot of times when it comes to women. So they don't have time to be 31, 32 trying to still meet people to,
Well, you're
you
assuming
get
they
what
don't
I'm
have
saying?
kids already, because most of y'all got kids already.
Wow, chill off us.
I keep it a buck. Hold on.
That's true.
It's I mean,
No, that's
you
why I
look
don't
now-
feel that. That's why I don't feel that pressure.
Yeah.
Like as I'm turning 20, I have a daughter. So as I'm turning like 28, I'm looking at everybody that I'm dating with a purpose. Like I'm not just about to like I'm not gonna date a guy or spend time with a man who I'm just like, oh, I could never. Like it's just, I'm not
Right,
wasting my time
right.
like that. But I'm also not like like hurrying up and pressing. Like okay, I only got a couple more years. I do want to have more kids, but I'd be cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that pressure that some women with no kids have. But I just want a lot of guys to understand that if it's a woman with no kids and she's getting up there, of course she's looking at me. Nobody wants to just say, I want to have these kids with no
I agree with that.
husband.
Men see physical first and future later. Like, okay, because we're weak for the flesh, so we see.
That's
Okay,
true.
we like her. Then we say, oh, I just don't want to be physically intimate with her. I
Yeah.
can see us building something, so I can see.
Yeah.
But women kind of go in it like, that's why I always say, like, give it time. You know, because women,
first.
as soon as he buy you something, you know, take you to a nice restaurant, this thing, you already thinking like, okay,
Yeah.
this is going somewhere. Men don't think like that.
Now I'm
Yeah.
thinking, okay, next weekend, Mastros.
Yeah.
Well,
Where were we the first weekend?
I just be hungry,
This is
man.
Mastros.
Yeah.
Where did it go first time?
Yeah.
I think
Start
it's
off slow.
important. You
we
say
had 5
men should be sensitive to a
Yeah.
woman's clock. Because men
Yeah.
can have kids. They 50.
Right.
just get a 28-year-old and you get it's on and
Good.
popping.
That's
Yeah.
Good.
But that's been our show for today. If you are listening on the audio, whether that's Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, make sure you like this. Thank you so much, Pastor
you.
Battle, for coming. We
Thank y'all.
appreciate
Thank
you.
y'all.
Thank you for the
Real.
job opportunity too.
Oh
we'll be
my
talking.
goodness.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, because
Yes.
he definitely about to get fired. Like, we
Oh, yeah, he's on.
But you know when one door closes, got you.
Look at here.
Look,
Man, him.
no, seriously.
He get one little sprinkle of Jesus app. All right,
the most
if you're
upright I ever
watching
seen him sit.
on YouTube, like this, subscribe to this, check out Pastor Keith's
They have your
podcast.
versatility, man.
Yeah, at Keith Battle Podcast. Check out the book, Sidechickology, and we will catch you next time. Are you coming back? Are you going to come back? Okay.
Sure, bring my wife.
That's what he's supposed to
Yes,
say.
Please.
All right, for
They
real.
make you take your shoes off on this podcast. This
Got
is
you.
sacred as a mug.
Well, you got to put the footies on. It's the shoes
Man.
come off, or the footies.
You was walking down the street, he's like, this carpet, I gotta take my shoes
They
off.
serious in here. They serious on this show. For real.
Wow.
Thank you so much. All right, catch y'all next time on No Disclaimers Podcast.